The town of Devpur looked ordinary from the highway. Rows of dusty trees, a temple bell echoing, cows grazing lazily by cracked walls. But when the Malhotra family moved into the old brick house at the end of Gulmohar Lane, neighbors said the air changed. Raghav Malhotra, a retired accountant, came with his wife Sunita, his two grown sons, Amit and Deepak, and their families. 11 people in all. They laughed, worked, prayed together. Raghav told everyone the house had a calm spirit. He was half right. At first there were whispers at night, barely audible, like the wind caught behind the ceiling fan. Sunita blamed the old pipes. The younger daughter-in-law, Priya, heard someone softly humming a tune behind her when she cooked. No one stood there. Raghav began keeping a journal. "Dreamt of eyes tonight," he wrote. "They want us to watch." The words made no sense, but he started waking the family early for a new prayer he said he remembered from an old book. They stood in a circle, palms joined, chanting under a flickering bulb. A neighbor once passed their window and saw them motionless, eyes open, lips moving soundlessly. She turned away quickly. Weeks passed. The youngest grandson, Arav, told his school friend that Grandpa talks to the walls. Teachers dismissed it as imagination. One evening the electrician came to fix the lights and refused to return. "Madam," he whispered to Sunita next door, "there's someone else upstairs. I heard breathing." That night Sunita saw faint handprints on the inner side of the window pane. Small, like a child's, pressed from the outside though the window was shut. She tried to scrub them off. They wouldn't fade. By the time monsoon arrived, the family barely stepped out. Milk packets piled outside their gate. The curtains never opened. At dawn, neighbors heard rhythmic knocks, 11 of them, then silence. Nobody knew it yet, but the Malhotra house had begun keeping count. By August, the Malhotras no longer spoke to outsiders. Amit told the grocer they were purifying themselves. At night, candles burned in every window, their wax tracing veins on the glass. Priya started filming on her phone little clips of the strange rituals to show her sister. But when she played them back, the images warped. Faces stretched, eyes turned upward until only the whites showed. Deepak began hearing footsteps in the attic, though it was sealed. He broke the lock and found a circle drawn in red powder. In its center sat an old clay idol with 11 marks carved on its chest. When he showed it to Raghav, the old man smiled gently. "They have chosen us," he said. That evening Raghav gathered the family in the hall. "The world is ending," he declared, voice trembling. "Only those who complete the vision will cross safely." The children clutched their mothers. Sunita wanted to call the temple priest, but the phone stopped working. Every call dropped after exactly 11 seconds. Neighbors reported faint chanting again, louder this time. The smell of incense and wet soil drifted into the street. Inside, the walls began to hum. Low at first, then rising like hundreds of bees trapped behind the plaster. Priya pressed her ear and heard her own name whispered back. Arav's drawings changed. He no longer drew houses or trees. Only long necks and hanging eyes. When Sunita confronted Raghav, he pointed to his journal. The pages were filled with patterns of concentric circles, each line tighter, almost hypnotic. "They will guide us," he said. One stormy night, lightning flashed through the windows and every mirror in the house cracked at once. The family froze. From the shards, faint shapes flickered, faces that weren't theirs. The next morning the doorbell rang again and again. No one answered. The grocer left food outside, but by evening crows had torn the bags open. The town whispered now too, of cults, ghosts, black magic. Some said they heard music from the house, a deep, slow hum like a conch blown underwater. Others swore the windows looked like eyes. Inside, Raghav marked 11 circles on the floor. "One for each of us," he whispered, "and one for the one who watches." The walls answered with a sigh. September 3rd was the last day anyone saw the Malhotras alive. That evening, a faint glow pulsed behind their curtains, blue and cold like moonlight underwater. The neighbor's dog howled till its throat went raw. Inside, the air was thick with incense and damp. 11 candles flickered around the red powder circle. The children sat quietly, eyes glazed. Raghav read from his journal in a trembling voice. They have come. The ones beneath the floor. They promise peace if we listen. As he spoke, the temperature dropped. The candles bent sideways, though the windows were closed. The humming from the walls grew until the plaster bulged like breathing skin. Sunita tried to stop him, but her words vanished, swallowed by the sound. For a moment she saw something move behind the idol, a tall shadow with too many arms, each holding an invisible thread that reached into her family's bodies. She screamed. No sound came out. At midnight the power failed across Devpur. Neighbors saw 11 faint lights floating through the window, rising one by one, then fading. When police broke in 2 days later, they found the house empty. No bodies. Just shoes arranged neatly in a circle. The idol melted into stone, and the words, "We have crossed," scrawled on the wall. The journals were gone except for one torn page that read, "They promised eternity." They never said whose. Even today, Gulmohar Lane stands deserted. Grass grows through the doorstep. At night passers-by swear they hear counting, softly, up to 11, then a knock behind them though no one is there. And sometimes, in the distance, a dim light flickers behind the broken windows, waiting for the next family to believe.